everyone, I'm Kimberly from Dirt Floor Fibers, and I'm here with Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club subscription package from September of 2021. But before I dive into that, a thought did occur to me. I usually forget to go back and show you guys what I've made from previous subscription boxes, so I figured that I would grab some yarn that I had hanging up to dry and show you. Now, if you happen to see either of my Creative Space redo videos, which by the way, I have one more in the work, I'm still working on a few touches, you would see that I have one of the continuous loom or continuous strand triangle looms set up in my studio. So I was really excited about jumping in and trying that. So I went to my hand spun stash and grabbed the bulkiest yarn I had, which seemed really bulky to me because I usually spin really finely. But when I started weaving, I realized it wasn't nearly as bulky as I thought it was, which means that the shawl I have on my loom is really open weave. Now I think it's going to be really nice when it's finished, but I think I do need a heavier yarn to create kind of a more sturdy fabric, if you will. So I figured, why not go back and spin some chunky yarn from my previous boxes, because I had gotten a little bit behind. I still haven't done anything with my August spinning box subscription package, which I'll put the video up for that soon. Hadn't done anything with the birthday package or the Northern Lights package from 2 months ago, so I was a little bit behind. So I went and I grabbed the fiber from the Northern Lights Paradise Fiber of the Month Club, and I started with the merino. So I think my colorway that I had in my package was Typhoon, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a really pretty kind of bluish purple tonal sort of colorway, which normally when you have the light and the dark, or a lot of different colors in a fiber, you end up with a final spun yarn that looks like very barber pole-ish. But I really like the way that this one came out. You can see from far away that while you do get the different tones and colors, it doesn't really look too barber pole-y. I mean, you have a few sections you can see, but the overall effect is just very kind of muted, but it has a lot of variation. So whatever I make from this is gonna have some great depth, and I can't wait to weave it up. And I think I did make it bulky enough where it will work on that triangle loom, although I still think it's not quite bulky enough. Like I said, I usually prefer to spin something that turns out to be more like a fingering weight, so it's proving to be a challenge to actually get my yarn to be bulky. But so I loved that one. That one turned out really, really well. But my favorite, oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite things I have ever made. I say that all the time, but I really mean it this time. This was their Aurora Blend. It only comes in one color, which is this green, but it's a blend of, let me see if I can remember it all. It's merino, bamboo, mulberry silk, and recycled sari silk. It is so soft and smooth. It's a nice dense yarn without feeling heavy. And I love the way the sari silk created a tweed effect. I was a little bit worried when I was spinning it, so when I would hit the little chunks of sari silk, it would just pull in and it would create this kind of puff in my yarn, which I love a smoother yarn. But once it was plied and the yarn was finished, so I soaked it, whirled it around outside, and then hung it up to dry, it's made a really smooth, beautiful yarn with these little flecks of color in it. So I actually took inspiration from this. I do love tweedy looking yarns, but I don't like it when the tweed pieces are synthetic. So I grabbed some washed alpaca that I had upstairs, and I used my blending board to blend it with some sari silk. And it didn't really come out to be a tweed effect, but I'm really interested to see what my yarn looks like when I apply that together. So I think I'm gonna keep playing with the sari silk as a tweed effect inside of yarn. But anyway, these were my two yarns next to each other that I had from that spinning or the Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club a couple of months ago. And I really, really love the effect. This is probably one of my favorite ones that I've done. So I wanted to show that off before I dove into this month's package. So the theme for September is end of summer, and the teaser email said something about sunset gradients. So I was really excited when I picked this up from the post office, and you can see the bag is a very sunset sort of look, so I'm excited to see what kind of fiber they've put inside. Now the package itself, when I feel it, it doesn't feel as bulky as previous month's packages, so I'm curious to see if we have maybe a smaller amount of fiber in a more expensive fiber blend, or I don't know. We'll find out when we get inside of it. So that's the package. I grab my scissors and we'll clip off the top. There we are. All right, so I always like to start with the cards. And so our title is Sunset on Summer. So we have that pretty themed card. It says, a final exploration of the season's textures and colors featuring new shades of flax and mulberry silk. Oh my gosh. So I think we're gonna get a smaller amount of fiber, but in flax and silk, which super exciting. As much as I love wool, I like to experiment with other things as well, so this is gonna be really, really great. So it's telling me that I'm gonna get one new shade of flax top, somewhere about 3 ounces. Spin these sun-swept colorways as is or blend with other fibers for a strong yarn that will soften with wash and wear. Excellent for weaving fabrics with, lace knitting, and even paper making. This natural luxury fiber has been cherished and widely used for centuries. And then I'm also going to get a new shade of mulberry silk top. That's another 3 ounces. So yeah, a little less fiber this month, but still highly reasonable. These electrifying pops of color make for a truly luxurious yarn that glistens with beautiful luster and strength when blended with other fibers or spun as is. Transform the fibers into drapey fabrics, lace shawls, silky garments, and even wet felted wonders. This mysterious luxury fiber has been inspiring makers for centuries. And I gotta say, the colorways are not my normal cup of tea, but take a look at these. They're really going along with the sunset theme. One of the things I really love about the Paradise Fiber boxes is the fact that when they go for a theme, they really go for a theme and they stick with it. If you watch my spinning box unboxing, they had a theme, but you can kind of tell from the fibers that the theme didn't really carry through the box. Paradise Fibers, however, delivers. Check out those colors. Very, very bright, really have a sunset vibe. And then, of course, it tells me that I'm also going to get my No Bad Vibes Sunset Clear. They always put a U pun in there and I can never pronounce it. Clear vinyl sheep sticker, a super mint stash tee, a milk tea stitch marker or progress keeper, and a stitch marker keeper bracelet. Oh, that's going to be useful. I always lose my stitch markers. All right, so as always, the package comes with some inspiration for how to actually use the items inside of your box. So let's take a look at the information on that card. So summer blending. So they've got these ideas. They look like some rolags that they've blended together. So I can probably use my blending board with this. So it says, this month we were inspired to take our blending board out into the sunny Pacific Northwest to explore combining these two drastically different fibers. This combination highlights contrasting summer textures and colors for a yarn that boasts drape, luster, strength, temperature regulation, and durability. These rolags would best be spun into fine yarn and would make lovely lace. I love fine spinning. If this project interests you, please visit our blog, blog.paradisefibers.com, on September 18th for an in-depth tutorial where we will show you how we blended these fibers on our blending board and how easily they can be blended without any tools at all. For more inspiration, look to our Ravelry group and see how other members are crafting with their fibers. So their Ravelry group is at The Real Paradise Fibers. Now I have to wait until September 18th because I want to see what they did with this. So flax and silk blends make a yarn suitable for in-between season days where it's still chilly in the mornings but sunny and warm in the middle of the day. This composition lends itself nicely to versatile, hard-wearing garments such as shawls, sweaters, woven fabrics, or perhaps a carry-all bag made using a stretchy stitch. So sensational colors. So we've got a little information on the back side about the fiber itself. It says, our newest eclectic, my bee is back. Our newest eclectic shades of flax and mulberry silk are a blender and color lover's dream. All 8 of these saturated shades are available today by special order for Fiber Club members only. Each shade will be available for all to purchase on our website at the end of September. That's the other thing that I really love about this club. Most of the time, the items that you get in your package are a new release, and so you can only have access for the first month to these fibers if you're a member of the club. So you get to have them before anybody else. And you also get I believe it's a 10% discount if you have the code, if you're a club member, which is really neat too. So flax is a natural cellulose bast fiber, meaning it is produced from the bark and stem of the nettle or flax plant. The seed heads of the plant are removed, the woody stem is rotted or retted. The fibers are broken and struck to remove the woody bits, and finally the fibers are hackled to further remove impurities and shorter fibers. Traditional flax is available in what is called line bundles or strikes with an even staple length of up to 22 inches. Holy cow. The flax in your package is considered top. The staple length is shorter because the fibers were broken in order to be carded on large machines. I'm sitting out on my back porch, and apparently the sun was enough to overheat my camera. I let it cool off for a couple of minutes, so we'll see how far we get. So as I was saying, when spinning, a low twist and low ratio is best. Oh, that's going to be a challenge. I'm usually more of a high twist person, which is better for silk, so that's interesting to know for flax, low twist. Water can be handy in order to smooth the fibers down. Keep a cup of water by you as you spin and wet your fingers periodically. Let the moisture coat the fibers before allowing the twist in for optimal results. Because of the varying staple length compared to a line or a strike, this flax preparation takes a little bit more time and patience to spin. Spin slowly and allow your hands to adjust as you draft. You know, I really want to try growing flax. If you saw one of my earlier videos, you know that I tried growing some indigo, and I have it growing out on my porch here. We had like a really hot week, and no matter how much I watered it, a lot of the leaves turned, they oxidized, they turned blue, or like brown. And so I was like, I killed my plants. But then they came back, but they weren't very full and nice. And then all of a sudden they went to flower, which means they're not good anymore. So I'm gonna try them for a second year. I'll leave them in the pot, see if they survive over the winter, and see if I get a nice full indigo plant next year. But if that doesn't work, I think I'm gonna try doing some flax, which looks easy to grow, but is a little bit tougher to process. So I don't know, we'll see. But now onto the mulberry silk portion. Mulberry silk fiber is the highest quality of silk available today. This protein fiber is made using the secretions of domesticated Bombyx mori silkworms. Secretion sounds really, really gross. We're going to ignore that. That feed on the leaves of the mulberry tree. This is enormously contrasted by tussa silk, which is made by wild silkworms that have been permitted to graze on anything and mature into moths, which results in shorter, yellow-toned fibers. The process of obtaining mulberry silk top, also known as cultivated silk, has many crucial steps. First, the cocoons are harvested and boiled before the silkworms emerge, removing the gummy glue that binds them. Next, the worms are removed and often consumed. Oh, I didn't know that. I knew that the worms didn't make it through the process, which is why I usually like tussa silk over mulberry silk, but consumed. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's interesting. Then the cocoons are unraveled into a single strand of pure white silk. Finally, these long strands are broken in order to be carded on large machines and turned into top. When spinning, a high twist and medium ratio is best. To make the spinning experience easier, control the draw with a low tension pre-draft the top into smaller pieces, and use a short forward draw. Silk truly shines as fine singles are plied onto itself. So now I'm really curious for them to come out with their how-to on the blog, because if you're going to blend silk and flax together, but one needs a low twist and one needs a high twist, I'm curious to see what they're gonna decide on. Do you go for a medium, meet it halfway? Do you use the water because it has the flax in it? I don't know. Let's go ahead and dive into the package and see what we have. All right, so the first thing that fell out is another one of these blue organza bags. Again, I love these bags. I hang on to them. And I either reuse them myself when I measure out wool for spinning, or I haven't done this yet, but I could probably reuse them as I sell things in my store, because there's nothing wrong with them. They last, they're definitely reusable. Oh, super soft. This has got to be the silk. My organza bag tries to fly away on me. Let's see, where were our colorways? So this looks like San Marino blue. And it has a really nice, even color all throughout. There's no variation in it. Super, super smooth. Beautifully prepared. This is gonna be really easy to draft out. Let's see, you can see how long the fiber, the staple length is. So that's going to be a lot of fun to work with. So now I'm really curious, because I do like this color. I'm really curious to see what color flax they put with it, especially if I choose to blend them together. So let's go ahead and dive back into the package. Yellow. Again, yellow would not be the usual color that I go for. The exact colorway looks like canary. Pull that out. Yep, this is definitely the flax. I actually have some flax upstairs to spin. I have like a purple color, maybe a kind of a pewter color, I can't remember. And so you can see how much more kind of wiry this is. It's still nice and smooth though. I wouldn't call it soft, it is kind of coarse, but it is really, really, really pleasant. And so if I pull out a staple length for that, a little bit longer, or maybe close to the same as, oh, another bee landed on me, as the silk. And I think this is gonna be really easy to draft out as well. And so here's the two colors together. Oh, now I can't decide, should I spin them both separately and then apply them together? Should I blend them equally on my blending board? I don't know. I might wait until the article on the Paradise Fibers blog comes out and see exactly what they did with it, because the Rolags, let's see if they have a picture of a blue, see they have a blue-yellow combination right there. I don't know. I might blend them. I think that might be fun. We'll see. I'll try to remember to update you on what I actually do with them in the end. So let's go back in and see what is in my Notions bag. Oh, that's cute. It's like burlap on the back, and then it has kind of a clear panel on the front, or organza panel on the front. And so I have my usual super mint stash tea. And ingredients, it's just wild mint. And then I have my sheep sticker right there. And then how fabulous is that? So the birthday box had, I don't know, it was like a milkshake or something similar. It had a little straw sticking out of it. This one's a little bubble tea. And I was worried about it at first because it was so large and it had like the straw sticking out of it, but I have been using this as a stitch marker on one of my projects, and it's actually not that bad. It's not getting in the way at all. And I love the bracelet. That is so smart. I always lose my stitch markers. They get, just put on a tabletop or tossed in a drawer, and then I can never find as many as I need. But having something to actually hold them, it's a good idea. I like that. That's awesome. All right, so that was the box for this month. We have, again, our flax and silk. Paradise Fibers blogs coming out with a how-to on September 18th, so I suggest you check that out as well. We had our Notions bags, our stitch marker, and stitch marker bracelet, our tea, and our sticker. Yeah,